Welcome. It is December 10th, if you can believe it or not. We are in Unit 6. We only have until December 18th, which is 8 more days left of the course. Um, Glad to have you with me today for either the recording or the live session. I'm going to do a little review for CIS 127, Intro to Creative Software. So throughout the course, we focused on various different introductory tasks in some of the creative software that you might use as a digital marketing person. You might use it in any kind of business environment. You might be expected to use it, and you might especially be expected to use it if you're in graphic design or something of that nature that's very related to that pathway. So I have a variety of you in this class, and it's been a pleasure. I will be available next Thursday, which is, let me just double check my calendar here. It'll be the 17th. Yeah. So Thursday, December 17th, I'll look forward to, I'm not going to do an overview of anything because I'm going to do that today and we'll be done. But I will be there for you for a half hour for questions or anything last minute. Since you only have a day left of the class, feel free to pop in and ask me questions. I will be just here sort of like an office hour type of thing. If you want to pop in and no one's there, feel free to like talk to me about anything, open up some work. I know Colin, we've done that in the past where we've done some critique sessions. I'm happy to do that. If any of you want to pop in with some work that you've done, especially this is introductory, maybe you got excited about a program and you wanted to work a little further and explore. You can certainly bring in those pieces to my office hour. I'll allow you to share your screen and show me what you have going on. That'll be very fun. I always like to see the progress that students make when they start to gain the skills. So for this week, let me go ahead and turn my editing on because that helps me if I see anything that needs to be updated here. So throughout the course, we've worked on each one of these. We did a little intro. We've explored Photoshop and its workspace. We've explored Adobe Illustrator and its workspace. We've explored InDesign and its workspace. The big three: Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. Then we integrated these applications, combined the images and the vector graphics and brought them into InDesign. And for this particular unit, if you haven't gotten this far yet, I know I opened through the end of the term, but if you haven't gotten this far yet, Adobe Acrobat is our output program. And I know all of you are familiar with it. You've been in it before. It would be it's not very common for people not to be aware of what Adobe Acrobat is. I know some of you who have most of you should have the Adobe software installed. Acrobat DC is the latest version. Some of you might have an older version. That's okay. But in this unit, you still have to be able to access the tools, and that's what you see here. The tools within Adobe Acrobat allow you to edit, add pages, combine files. You can do just a laundry list of different types of things. You can add bookmarks to your long PDFs. For example, if you're sending off like some kind of long document to be approved, you can have like a table of contents even set within Adobe Acrobat. We won't get that far into Adobe Acrobat, the features that it offers, but it's very robust in what you can do with your PDF files actually. And some of you already noted that maybe you can pop in Adobe Acrobat and sign forms, edit text, add text. So all of that happens here in Adobe Acrobat. I might open it up and just show you how one might go about doing it. There are specific instructions, and I'm gonna share my full screen because it never shares that little pop-up window for some weird reason. Okay, so here are the instructions for the exercises. You'll have 3 small exercises again. They appear to be a lot longer than they really are. You can follow the video or do the step-by-step. I know some students like to print this out, all the steps, and follow that one by one. It might be easier for some people to do that. Others like to look at the video, follow along from a different device, or just play the video, watch it, and then sort of go back and forth and make sure they've done every one of the tasks correctly. So you have 3 exercises, small ones for this unit. And each one has you walking in and using Acrobat in a different way. You're going to add text, and then I think one of them allows you to change the rotation of your pages within the PDF. So there's a lot of different things happening. You're going to add color, change rotation. You're going to extract some of the pages within your PDF and then resave it. So it's getting familiar with sort of the options that you have within that program. So each one of those has a set of instructions and a video for you to follow. Here's an image that you'll use for exercise 6A. And then this is your Adobe Illustrator document. You're going to use that for exercise 6B. You're going to end up exporting that into an Acrobat file. So that's what you'll do for this unit for Acrobat. Following this unit, as you may have already noticed, there's just a final quiz. This is sort of a culmination of everything that we've learned. It may even have repeated questions that you've already answered within the quizzes, within units 1 through 6. So just know that it is just a culmination of things that it's a reinforcement of what you've already learned in the course. And then if you could, I'll give you 10 extra credit points if you fill out the course evaluation. I'm always updating these courses, as you can imagine, with Adobe updates. It can be a little bit crazy, but one of the more important things for me is how the course is delivered. I get a feedback every single term, and I do change the course based on your feedback. It means a lot to me, just knowing if something didn't work, maybe I can eliminate that. Or if something did work really well, then I'll be able to do more of something that works well. I try to think of all situations, especially now as we're in this pandemic, how the course can be delivered and how students can get the most learning out of the course and less tedious direction. Because I know sometimes sitting through lectures that are super long, when you could maybe Google something, you know, the important things is you having the critical thinking skills from the course to be able to Google accurately and find the proper resources to bring into your work. So with that said, please provide me some feedback. I want to hear from you. And you know, it always applies to what I do moving forward. In the future, if you choose to connect with me, you know where to find me. Please, you know, save my email. You can find it up here in the upper right-hand corner. I also have it, I think, in my introduction somewhere around here. I want to hear from you at any time. Keep me posted on your progress at JC, your path. And I hope and I wish you all the luck. It's been a pleasure. You do not have to join me. I won't be doing any kind of live session next week on Thursday because our very last day of the course is Friday. But like I said, I will be here for office hours, so you can pop in at 10:30, same time, and share something with me or ask questions. Okay, so if there are any questions right now, you can pop in the chat or unmute yourself. Otherwise, in a moment after we answer questions, if there are any, then I will jump into maybe opening Acrobat.
This was less a question about Acrobat and more a question about some of the assignments.
Sure.
With some of the forms I've been late getting to, is it still okay to go in and do those?
The forums. Yes, that's a great question, Colin. If you feel like you have not been contributing enough to the forums, I do go back and look at an overall participation, the overall participation to the forums, and it has influenced your attendance each week too. So if you're not logging in and doing forums and you're only logging in and answering the assignment, it does affect you. So please go back in and I wouldn't try and respond to everybody, but just an initial post. If you missed one or two, go ahead, go back in and post, and that would be a good idea.
Yeah, it's just been these latest two. I don't know why, but I froze up on the page layout one, and then after that, I was just like ah.
Yeah, no problem. That's a good question. I'm sure other students can benefit from that answer because I do want to see that you're all contributing to the forum. It's how we create our community in the class. So if you haven't contributed to the forum, you still have time to go back in, answer those questions. You don't have, the conversation is kind of old now, so I don't expect that you'll get a lot of feedback from your post, but if you at least answer the question, that would be important. That's a good question. Any other questions? So I just want to reiterate that midnight, December 18th, it's a little strange. I usually don't have a Friday night being the last day of class. It's usually a Sunday night, as we do throughout the term. It's been Sunday night, midnight, that you submit work. I cannot allow, and I think because of the holiday or whatever, it just falls on a weird time this term. I cannot allow any late assignments past Friday, December 18th at midnight. So that's next Friday. It's actually a week and 1 day away. So December 18th, Friday, midnight. So if you wake up Saturday, post your work, I will not be accepting that, unfortunately. So a lot of people already know that. A lot of people, that's why I opened up the rest of the class, the units in the class, so you all can work ahead, and hopefully you were able to do that. That's why the very last unit has only a final quiz, so that you can get to that finishing point. Okay. All right, so if there aren't any questions, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to launch Acrobat real quick. See if I can open up. I'm gonna open up this. Okay, so this is just a faux project that I did, and I'm going to share my entire screen so you guys can see it. Here's a faux project I did. It's a PDF project. It's for the InDesign class. Some of you might be in that class with me right now. But it's a business plan. And for this project in particular, this was created in InDesign. It was designed in InDesign. So a lot of you, if you don't know the power of InDesign, you can do a lot of wonderful things with page layout and design. And this is a 6-page piece with spreads on the interior. And it is turned into a PDF. So it was exported as a PDF. So I'm just sort of introducing you to Acrobat. A lot of you already know it quite well. But once you head into tools, you have a lot available to you. You can, as you know, you've probably gotten forms from the college or from other people you're doing business with that you had to sign. Of course, if you fill and sign something, if you head into your tools and you fill and sign something, it gives you options up here. So I could sign. I've got my little signature added here. I could sign somewhere on this document. You know, if it were a form and I needed to sign, I could pop it right there. I could delete it if I needed to. Sometimes you could just allow the computer to generate a font for you. And in that way, I believe this was not my signature. This was a computer signature. And it's just not even a signature, it's just my initials. So there we go. So I can do that. You can request signatures from other people. There's a lot of different things that you can do. What I love is that if I'm working on a form, you just close out of tools too. Once you're done with the tools, you just do close, and it goes back to your regular PDF screen. But if I were to need to edit something last minute, I will tell you, you would have to go to Tools, scroll back up here, Edit PDF. Now, I don't trust this fully all the time, especially as a designer. So we have a lot of options to us on the right side for formatting, fonts, etc. But if I were to rely solely on this for editing my PDF, I'll tell you that it doesn't always capture the fonts properly. And I have had some spacing issues, so I wouldn't trust it if you're going in and editing something as a designer, unless it's last minute or you don't care that much about what the output is. We all kind of care what output is, but if let's say you're in a form, F-O-R-M, form, that, you know, some business office sent you, or you were doing business with somebody and you needed to edit the text. In that way, it probably isn't a big deal for you to go in and change the specifics here, or just edit your document. And it's so funny because right now I have this open and it usually never captures the initial font that I use on my system, which is Rockwell, one of my favorite fonts right now. But today it is. And when I wanted to show you how it doesn't do something, today it's doing it. But so it is getting better, maybe Acrobat's starting to capture things that we're doing in InDesign a little bit better, which would be a great thing. But sometimes Acrobat doesn't always sync up with InDesign in the applied styles that you give your typography, your spacing in your typography. So what it's doing when you said edit text, it reads and finds whatever text is within the document. So it's not going to perform like InDesign might perform. And I just want to warn you all about that. So for example, like, you know, if I go in here and I start to change my text around, I'll change it to Optima. It doesn't perform the way that InDesign does. So this is our leading or our spacing. We might not get much of a change. That's an example here. Not much is happening here. Let's try this here. This is our leading, I believe. So it does open up, but it opens up and each one of these are different boxes. So you can kind of tell that just by looking at the bounding boxes here. Let's see here, there we go. Did a Command Z to get back. But I just want to warn you all, it's not going to do the same things that you've intended to design within InDesign once you open an Acrobat. So it has to be either a form you're working on that you make changes, or maybe you don't care that much, but it's important to recognize the differences of the two platforms. Okay, so I'm going to close out of there. Another interesting thing that I love about PDF and Acrobat is that if you do go to your tools and you wanted to include pages or combine files, let's say you have two different Acrobat files, let's say you're doing your taxes and you want to do them all online, and you want to include your bank statement, you want to include you're sending this to your tax professional, this is just an example, and you want to include your bank statement, you want to include your pay advice, your pay stub, you want to include maybe several pieces of mail that you've scanned that are important, that are going to help you with your taxes. You would then maybe combine files. So I already have this file open, but I'm going to combine files. I'm going to add files to the file that I already have. And then I can go and I can, not really sure what PDF I have here that I could, maybe the college's strategic agenda. I'll just do that for now. Okay, and so then I can combine those files. And so now, if you see, I've got the strategic agenda for JC, and that's 2. And I've got this file and this file ready, and now I need to go into organizing the files. I go to Tools, Organize. I'm going to Insert from File. I'm going to go to that strategic agenda and select. And let's say I want that happening after page 4. This is what I'm going to require you to do in the exercises, essentially, okay? For Acrobat, for this particular unit, you're going to go in and do this. So I've got 4 pages of my business plan, and then I've got the strategic agenda added. So I've got a couple different PDFs now, all within one PDF. And then you hit close. So if I go back to page 1, I've got, there we go. So they're all one file now. I can close out of this. Let's say don't save. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Tools again. And the other thing I can do when I go into Organize Pages is, let's say I have a PDF that's rather long, and some of the pages are blank, or maybe somebody sent you something over that was scanned, and again, it's blank, and you don't really need all those pages. Or maybe you have your signature on something and you don't want somebody to have it, and you need to extract a page, and you only want a couple pages. You have a bank statement, you don't want them to see your very first page with all of your important information on it. So what you might do is then extract. You can do is, let's go ahead and extract. We're going to delete those pages after extracting, or you can extract pages as separate files, which is super handy, especially if you still want to save those pages. So I'm going to go ahead and extract those pages as separate files, and I'm going to choose this page. I'm going to extract this strategic agenda, and I'm going to hold down Shift and that page because I want to do two. And then I'm going to go ahead and extract them. Now this is different. Save it on my desktop here. Extracting is different. If I extract them as separate files, it's not going to delete them, but it did just extract them. If I do it again and I hit extract, delete pages after extracting, you can do that too. And they will extract as two different pages. So I hope I wasn't too confusing. It says it's already exists because I already extracted it. So you can extract and delete, and you'll never have them. They'll just be deleted. I always like to extract because most of the time I need those pages. I just don't want them in the file with me. I usually extract as separate files and just say overwrite. Yeah. All right, just say yes. All right, so now I just have those 4 pages, and I know I probably didn't explain that super awesome, but let's see. We've got this is that, and it'll just add a number next to it. So I've got my business plan. Oh wait, that was the initial one. Okay, so I have my business plan open right here. I extracted and I replaced. This is what now exists from my extracted file. It should be 2. I don't know why it didn't capture both pages, but anyway. You can do the extract and delete or extract as separate files. Oh, I know, it is there. It just extracted as 2 separate files. So I think this is, yep, page 5 and page 6. Sorry. So we've got 2 different files. So it extracts as 2 different files. Now I might want to put them back together, right? So I'm going to open that PDF up. It extracted as separate files. So now I want to include, I'm going to go to Tools, Organize Pages. I'm going to insert a file, insert from file again. I need to add page 6 because it just deleted. It did it as separate, and I want them together. And I want that to go after page 1 of 1. There we go. And then I can just save, file, save again. So that's me working with different pages in the PDF, Adobe Acrobat DC, creating different kinds of PDFs, eliminating pages, reorganizing pages. You can delete them, simply delete them if you don't want them in here. You can rotate the pages. And a lot of this is what I require you to do in the exercises for Unit 6. Okay, there's so much more that you can do in Acrobat DC. You can add bookmarks. There's so much you can do with these tools. Let's see if I go back. Trying to find the bookmark. I think the bookmark might be over here. There's so much you can do. Adobe Sign. Can't remember which, they've changed it since I've done bookmarks, but you can do a lot of very incredible things in Acrobat. And it's not that hard to figure out, especially because if you have questions, you can go straight up to Acrobat tutorials. It'll bring you to Adobe Help. And we all love Adobe Help. So you can go into any one of these tutorials. Throughout the term, you could have done that with any one of your Adobe exercises if you had questions. I do mimic a lot of the assignments after these exercises, if you're curious. And of course, it is a tall task for me to update them every so often because Adobe is updating regularly. I want to say it used to be every 18 months, but now me as an instructor, I have to have them updated like every few months if there's any kind of systematic change or anything of that nature. So with that said, have a great Unit 6. Get that work in before December 18th at midnight. That's next Friday. And don't hesitate to connect with me. Do I have any questions?
Um, I just wanted to say, like, hypothetically, if one didn't have Acrobat to extract certain pages, couldn't you use the print as PDF function, like, and like select a certain page amount and then print it as a, or like do 1, 3, 5 and then have it print those pages as a separate file?
Yeah, so you can definitely do that. That would be your workaround, and that's problem solving, and that's a really good idea. I really want you to get familiar with the Acrobat, the power of Acrobat, what it allows you to
Mhm.
do. So if you have access to Adobe Creative Cloud, it should also give you access to Adobe Acrobat. But
Okay.
yes, indeed, Colin, if you didn't have access to the Acrobat DC or Acrobat Professional is the old version, um, y- absolutely, there are ways around it. We always worked around that. If people do that all the time, like so, if you need to print and save it as a separate file, or if you need to print specific pages and then save, like if you're saving an Adobe InDesign file and you export your Adobe InDesign 10-page file. You can export and then it's 10 pages. And then what you can do is just, from that PDF file, save as PDF, but only save page 1 through 3. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yep, that would be a way around it. So, I hope that answered your question.
I was gonna say the main reason I asked is I'm probably not gonna have access to a lot of my Adobe softwares here in the near future, so I
Yes,
might as
and
well
just so
figure out
everyone knows, you
stuff.
can definitely do the free trial under a different email. Try and get that free trial if you needed it in the future until you decide you want to invest in it. So yes, so there are ways around it. Like sign up with a different email and do a free trial. It might,
Yeah.
it could work for some people. Um, Student discounts are available. A lot of you, I hope, are taking part in that. And the student discounts through JC, you just have to provide your enrollment um, or your email address, even. I think all it is once they know you're a student, they give you the discount. So I hope that helps. Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording. Best of luck, and it was a pleasure working with you all this term. Hope you all have a nice break. Um, Hopefully you have a break. I know some people don't, and just take care and be safe.